Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Bergmann. Specifically, we're going to be doing some contracts tonight, as the title says, because, well, we need to increase our bank account balance. We are sitting right now at $25,000. I think earlier we had a low of $4,000. I've already done a few contracts, and we've got this harvest contract to do. I think it's going to give us about $10,000. I've got a $15,000 fertilizing contract, and then I think I have another decent income baling contract that we're going to do. We also need to, I think, fertilize our barley fields, make sure they are ready to rock and roll. Finished weeding those earlier this evening as well. And we're going to talk about some things. I mentioned earlier at the start of the pre-show that Combined Counties is now out. We did a preview live stream of that map with the map author Cavalier Roy a few weeks ago. But I think that map has since released since the last time we were able to live stream. So it's kind of new news for the live stream discussion. If you are playing on PC and you haven't seen that map or heard about what Combined Counties is, it is a 4X map that includes all 4 Cavalier Roy maps to date, combined and seamed, stitched together, if you will, to be a singular 4X map. A really well done job, and I think something that would be absolutely fabulous for multiplayer. We had another map drop over the weekend. I think QA has been busy. Maybe busy testing, prepping, maybe something that might be a Gamescom release. I don't know, but I think it might be cool to have one final thing for FS22 that might be released for Gamescom. That would be pretty cool. We got some sort of special send-off for FS22. Surely we'll have some announcements this week. Gamescom starts tomorrow, goes through Sunday. Anyone lucky enough to go will have the opportunity to play a special build of Farm Sim 25. I asked David earlier how the schools were, because we're getting ready. It is now back to school season here in the States. Over the summer they have 6 weeks, about December 20th to February 4th. Start of February 4 terms of 10 weeks each, and 3 midterm breaks of 2 weeks each. So David's down in Australia, so summertime is December through February, which obviously sounds very strange for anyone in the Northern Hemisphere. Well, Artemis, that's a perfect opportunity to do things like that. Right? My youngest has been back to school since the first full week in August. So I guess he's starting his second full week maybe this week. And my oldest goes back to college on Sunday, and her classes start on Tuesday. Kevin, what is up, sir? Jolly Rancher Gaming, 32 months. Bam! Just come in here and drop that on us. That is quite a long time. Thank you, sir, for being such a steady member of the channel. Thank you very much. And you know what? This video is brought to you by GoldenEye 48 and Raznak. Thank you for being farm barons. Those are also 2 very, very long members of the channel. Much appreciated, everyone who does do that. Something I noticed I mean, if you're watching this stream and you're not a subscriber, something I noticed. We are, I think, 19 away, maybe 20 away from hitting 49,000. So I had a goal. I had a goal of hitting 50K before FS25. That's still possible. It's still possible because you know what? We have 25. We have 82 days and 22 hours before FS25 releases. 82 days, just under 3 months. For FS25. Alright, let's see. Where does this stuff go? The oil mill. Alright, the oil mill is... Where did we put it? It's up here. Alright, we gotta turn around and make our way back to... Well, Artemis, it's a long road. We've been doing this since 2017, remember? Right? We're no startup that just started with a bang. This has been a long grind. But I wish everyone who's a creator the bestest of luck in breaking through on their respective platforms. Here is the river. You've been music. What's that mean? Oh, well, congratulations, Kevin. Is this your first? So here we have the direct sale area for the oil mill. Oh, you've been doing that. Make your way back. Now, any stuttering you see, I updated my graphics driver yesterday or the day before. This is my first time in Farm Sim since I did that. So, as you know, it's got to rebuild shaders and all that jazz. £9, 2 ounces. Well, I think we had our first when I was 27, maybe. Well, congratulations, and as you have figured out by now, your life is now completely turned upside down from what it was before. But you'll figure out a new schedule to get everything done. Or have already figured out a new schedule, right? Let's get this guy empty. And like I said, we're going to go start our fertilizer. All right. Let's just jump over here to the apple orchard just for funsies. See how our cider is coming along. I temporarily forgot the name of it. All right, so we have 159 liters of cider, not enough. I think 200 liters is when we get a barrel, not a Muckies, but a barrel of cider. And our shine, to keep you updated on that. We have 50 liters of shine already. And we have 25 liters or 24 liters of shine basically being distilled here. And 168 liters of mash basically being coming there. This is basically done. And we need to uncover this. Come on. And we'll dump it over here. And we need to get more corn and sugar brought over here. Our chickens. We got little baby chicks. We got little baby chicks now. So they're doing good. Oh, we had somebody. I don't remember who. There was a comment, they thankfully figured it out. But they couldn't figure out how to feed their chicks. And they were asking me how they fed their chicks. And thankfully they figured it out between when they made the comment and when I got the reply back. But you just gotta think how you feed it logically. You put your wheelbarrow under here. And then you feed them with this, right? Because you can't. You're not getting a tractor and a trailer through here. No way. And then you may be like, well, they got manure. Right? We just scoop that up here with our wheelbarrow and we take that over to our garden. Auto Sim Crew, welcome. Welcome. You'd be surprised how well you can survive on next to no sleep. Oh, I guess it's full. All right, let's pick that up. We're gonna put this in our compost pile. There we go. And we have strawberries. So folks were saying they were getting big crates, big pallets of strawberries. I don't think they're using this garden because I get little boxes. Uh-oh. Nope. Nope. Don't close that. Oh, no. There we go. I need to get some more sugar. Oh, I guess I need to use this one. Jonathan, then I'd say it must be maybe some sort of mod conflict. Are you using like any mods that affect or modify palettes in any way? Because when I use this map, I run an extremely minimal mod folder. In fact, let's see what it is. I have a total of 26 mods in. That includes the map and all the required mods. So basically a good hint is if you see anything that behaves different from how I demonstrate it, it's most likely a mod that is affecting that behavior for you. Kevin, you also might discover that you become a sudden light sleeper. Maybe you were a heavy sleeper before, but suddenly, like, a drop of a pin wakes you up. Danny, how you doing tonight? Welcome. Welcome. We've been talking about Farm Sim 25. 82 days, 22 hours until November 12th. Midnight CET. That is when Giants is going to release Farm Sim 25 over on the Giants eShop. And in the last few releases, they have worked to have a coordinated release globally across all platforms. So let's hope that that is indeed the case. Although Steam sometimes plays by its own rule set, so be cautious about that. We're talking about Gamescom. That opens up tomorrow. I believe that's the largest European gaming convention of the year. Those that can participate and go to that. Probably not a whole lot of my audience, but at any rate, those lucky viewers, they are there. You'll get to play a special build of Farming Simulator 25 firsthand. I know there'll be lots of folks be interested on the social medias to see and hear what that's about. I want to see the new Eastern European map. I mean, come on, we've seen plenty of Riverbend Springs. I want to see this Eastern Asian map, not European, Eastern Asian map. That's what I want to see. Yeah, it's in Cologne, Germany. I mean, I've had a blast the last 2 years that I've gone to PAX East here in the States. Now, from what I understand, PAX West is a lot bigger than PAX East, and that's still a pretty nice sized convention up in Boston. Next year, PAX East will be in May as opposed to March. Well, Donald, you have a fabulous opportunity to experience lots of games from lots of different genres firsthand. Lots of playable demos, be able to talk to developers. They've got gaming stations set up where you can just sit and play games in a single or multiplayer. D&D, lots of D&D sessions there. Board games, card games galore. And of course, most likely Giants will be there, Farming Simulator will be there. Last year we passed out some cow pins. They were, quite frankly, in my opinion, the most prized pin of the show. So we'll see what type of pin we pass out this coming year. It sounded like we would have it would be a collection of different pins. Well, you've got next week the Farm Progress Show in Iowa. Now, of course, the U.S. is a big country, so depending on where you are, Iowa may still be a very, very large distance to travel. But you do have the Farm Progress Show here next week. That is pretty neat. Field 37. Alright, we need to hang a left, then we need to hang a right, and all the way to the end of the road. Now, I know Giants will not be at the Farm Progress Show this year, but I wouldn't rule it out for future years as their North American office gears up. Remember, Giants has been trying to establish a North American office for many, many years. They were looking to open a North American office in 2019. But this global thing happened that put a big halt to lots of stuff. And that went on for quite a long time, as we all know. So I believe Giants was finally able to get that office opened in maybe 2021, 2022 time frame in Chicago. It's still fairly limited as far as the staffing on the North American side. They have Kermit, the community coordinator for North American folks, and I believe there is a customer service guy working out of that office, and maybe one other person. They've been trying to hire an events coordinator for the North American office. So as they get further ramped up on staffing, no doubt they'll be able to participate in more and more events here in the States, possibly in Canada as well, possibly maybe even Mexico or South America. You never know, because there are quite a following of Farm Sim in all of those countries. Well, David, if you are able to make it out to the National Farm Machine Show in Louisville, Kentucky in February, it'll be a pleasure to meet you. I do intend to make that show again. What's palette additional features? What does that do? Alright, so we've got our barley fertilized. We don't have to worry about that. I mean, the Farm Progress show looks really neat, and I wish it was something I could go to, but it's way, way far away from me here on the East Coast. PAX West is coming up. If it's not next week, it's the week after. That is the, you're not done. Why you think you're done? Let me see PAX West for the West Coast folks. August 30th through September 2nd. So yeah, next week. So we've got, oh my gosh. We have Gamescom, the 21st through the 25th. Then we have PAX West, the 30th through the 2nd. It's like two weeks of gaming conventions. One in Cologne, Germany. One in, I believe, Seattle, Washington. Now, I think for me, the biggest thing that I know, or I feel I know about the Farm Progress show, is the little dioramas, the stuff that's set up like that. What else is at the show? Empty the harvester. You'll be able to finish the rest of this field. What does that say? Diesel oil. Okay. Like live demos of various machinery. Oh, it's about 6 hours for me to Louisville. So it's a very, I don't know if I'd say hands-on, but very demo-centric. Watch this stuff do its job show, plus the dioramas and things. That sounds like a cool show. So the National Farm Machine Show that's in Louisville, that's more of just a showroom show, right, where everyone has their booth. They bring in their machinery, they set the machinery up in a booth, and you know, you can get right up to the machinery, you know, you touch it and all, but you can't You're not actually able to see it function. The one in Louisville is 100% indoors, yes. It is at the Kentucky Expo Center, maybe? Is that it? And it's like, I don't know, 500,000 square feet under one roof or something. Let me get this guy hired off, and I'll pull up a link. February 12th through February 15th. There you go. So it's a completely free event. 9 to 5 every day. They also have tractor pull. You have Kentucky Expo Center. The only have you pay for is parking. Oh, sorry, that was wrong. 1.2 million square feet. It takes a long time to walk, and it hurts. It hurts my back a lot. But yeah, it's massive. I try to split it up over all the days and do a section of the show each day. Because after maybe 3.5, maybe 4 hours of walking around and filming, my back is just screaming, and I can, grab lunch and then just head back to the hotel and edit the things up together and get a video out and come back the next morning. I mean, we can do it, David. We can do it. We'll have to get tickets, figure out how to do that. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, if you want a good idea of what the show's like, I've got videos on the channel. I've got a playlist from both years that I've been there. It's my idea of a virtual show where you can watch all that and get a pretty good representation of what is there. Big companies, Case, Kloss, John Deere, Agco, your big time companies, your companies that do AGI, your grain bins, your augers, and then you've got the smaller companies all the way down to the kind of your startups, booths of various sizes. There are some talks where you can go and hear some people talk about, things as well. Not a whole lot of actual machinery demonstrations because it's all inside. But a building's big when you have a giant harvester in it. And it's like, the harvester is dwarfed by the building. They just drive the harvester in, park it. You can get up in it, you know, sit in the harvester, sit in the tractors. That's a big thing for the kids. And what I always think is really funny is that on Thursday and Friday, like, there's field trips. School buses just pull up to the front door and drop kids off. And you've got high school kids, you know, walking around the show floor for a few hours on a field trip. And then Saturday and Sunday is a little bit more family oriented. You get families come out, a lot of strollers, a lot of wagons. There we go. This guy's moving along pretty good. This will be in this contract. But at the National Farm Machine Show that this year, they had the new design of the quad track. And that's why when we had the FS25 announcement video, the CGI trailer, when they showed the new quad track right at the very beginning in the farmer's garage there, when they were looking at the boiling water, that's why I knew there was a quad track. It's like, oh, I've seen that. I got to see that in person. Yeah, I've seen the quad. I've seen the Jaguar. Not so much in operation around here, but I have seen it go up and down the interstate on flatbed trailers from time to time. They did have the New Holland CR11. They also had the case version of that same harvester there. Although you couldn't get up in it. They just had it. But those were two harvesters you couldn't actually get into. Whoa. It was probably about 3-4 years ago. I saw my first butterfly mower in real life down here. You know, I knew that they existed, at least they existed in game. But if you're like me, something really doesn't click that it exists until you see it in person. And I was driving down the road, and then this tractor came out with a front mower and a pair of butterflies on the back, and I'm like, what is that doing here? So we're just seeing a little bit more and more European style stuff make its way here. I say European style because, of course, what you would typically see would be a trailed offset mower. That's what you would typically see. A good old disc spine. Did I missed it. Oh my gosh. I completely blew past where I needed to go. Oh, this silly little tree. Now, the disc spine and the crone mower or these other mowers, they really operate on the same principle. They just still have those little blades that freely spin. So if you hit something, you're not flinging it, you know, up and out of the mower. I think they basically call those breakaway blades. What's up, Tukey? How you doing? You know, an orange tractor is just a sun-bleached red tractor. That is one strong railing. Oh, there are pictures somewhere of the Gamescom booth that I missed. And let's go ahead and we'll collect you. We'll collect you. And now we have just that. Look at that. Doubled our money. Oh, Facebook. Well, no wonder I didn't see it. Facebook is evil. Well, I mean, wouldn't you go big? You're announcing a brand new game. Do they have, like, tractors there? I think at Gamescom Pass they've had like tractors or a tractor set up. Just look for the John Deere. That's where they are. Alright, let me get back to the farm and then I'll look. Maybe I'll bring it up on the screen here. Oh, then maybe I've seen. Okay, maybe I've seen a post. One of the ambassadors posted a tracked cloth, and I guess maybe I didn't have the full understanding of what that was in reference to. Yeah, when you don't have the full context of something. Oh, let's look. Yeah, they had posted this, so there you go. Farming Simulator 25 booth. And then... Wow, that is spacious. One, two, three. Oh, they're set up to do... They're also set up to do, the FSL. Because there's 3 there, there's 3 over here. We have the announcer's table. Here you can play Farm Sim Mobile. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 stations to play the demo. Farm Sim, and does it just keep going on over there? What's over here? Dang. Okay. All right, we have a baling contract, so that's the next thing we're gonna do. Well, I would say buildable buildings, but we have that. They've delivered that, at least buildable farmhouses. I want to be able to place my own animal pens piecemeal. I want to draw the nav mesh, maybe by placing stakes at the corners and filling in the box. I want to be able to place where my food triggers go, where the outputs go. Basically want to be able to design my own animal pen. Go along with my buildable farms. I mean, I've got lots of hopes and dreams, and I honestly forget about them until either somebody mentions something or they get announced, and I'm like, oh, I wanted that, but now it's coming. I'm not a good list person. I'm not a good person to make lists because I deliberately try not to get myself hyped up over something, because if I do, and then something doesn't meet my expectations, I wouldn't say I go into depression, but I get really, I really don't like being, like, disappointed. So I try not to overhype myself by making my, these are my wish lists. Because I know that most likely none of them will happen, or very few will happen. Although, honestly, FS25 has ticked a lot of boxes. A lot of the stuff they've announced have ticked a lot of boxes. And I'd like to say that I called an Asian-inspired map back before the Platinum expansion for FS22. The fact that we had a single Izeki tractor indicated to me that something had to be coming from Asian-based. I just ended up being a whole game release too early for that. I think like fruit trees would be nice. I would like to see additional animals like llamas. Another source for wool would be nice. Llamas or alpacas or any other animal that makes wool other than just sheep. Maybe alternate grasses like alfalfa. There's lots of grasses here in the States that are used for hay. Maybe a little bit more refined gameplay around fertilization. Right, I didn't get a chance to use it, but the soil mod for FS15 comes up a whole lot. And the soil mod was basically similar to precision farming, except as opposed to being nitrogen, as opposed to being lime and having various soil types and lime and stuff, it was basically different crops require different amounts of fertilizer and different types of fertilizer and things like that. So I'd like to go from more of a universal fertilizer to, this crop needs this type of fertilizer to do well. You know, precision farming is like, well, this crop needs lots of nitrogen, this crop needs little nitrogen. I would favor anything on the side of more realism, but not getting to the point of point-and-click simulator. Like, I do not want to see a car mechanic sim, farm sim, where I gotta get out and I gotta click on grease nubs before I get in the field. Right, you've clicked on one of 700 grease nubs to grease this piece of machinery before you can go use it. I don't need that. I think Giants is making a good stride with respect to the ground deformation. It's maybe not what people wanted with respect to digging, but it does give a little level of realism. The reflections are looking cool. Optimizations for the trees are nice. The wet roads, the wet tires, the water's interaction when you drive through it or walk through it looks cool. I want to be able to float logs down the river and use that little tugboat that we've seen in the Riverbend Springs videos and images to pull those logs down the river. I hope there's a secret log tunnel under a big chunk of the center island or the center section of the map in order to shortcut the big bend in the river. I have zero clue about Asia in general. You could show me 20 pictures of different areas of Asia and I would have zero idea of where they were or how they were different. So if it's Japan, if it's China, if it's Vietnam, if it's, I mean, whatever. Philippines, I wouldn't. I mean, I'd like to see different weather calendars for different maps, right? I wish all 3 base maps would have different calendars to them because they're all very distinctive different areas, and that would mean that maps built on those different maps would likely carry over those different growth calendars, and as a byproduct, players would get a little bit more variety to their maps and to their growth, to their planting and harvesting schedules, than simply being a single schedule across everything. But there's going to be things that Giants never even announces. And when we get FS25 for the very first time, we're going to see and we're going to be like, oh, this is cool. So, like, for example, here, right? We take this for granted now because, well, we've had it for years. But the flapping in the wind here, the curtains. There was a few mods in FS19 that did this, and it was a cool effect, right? But it wasn't standard. Giants never announced that was going to happen. Did I just, no. And then it was, you know, us getting early access, or players in general getting the game, and, you know, someone grabbing a mower and driving down the road for the very first time. And it was that, holy shit, look at this. This is so cool. Right, that moment. I still recall the moment on Elm Creek when I was merging a field, and I suddenly discovered that this area, let's pretend we're merging this field, when I suddenly discovered that this area was changing and was basically converting over to this, you know, to show me where I had plowed or where I had seeded, and it was like, this is dynamic, right? If I merge this into one field, I no longer have these two separated. They're now overlaid with the real information. We didn't have that in 19, right? That wasn't there. If you merged the field, the PDA never changed visually. It was always how it was when it was delivered to you as the as a player. Yeah, Steve, I mean, I think it just feels so like in build mode, right? In build mode, we put down our animals, right? We put down our building. But if I want manure, well, I have to go over here. And I have to put this down, right? And I have to be so close to an animal building. And if I do, then it hooks together. Or if I want to store more manure, I put this close enough, and then suddenly this ends up with being combined storage, right? So it feels like, to some degree, it's already there. Why can't I just go here? Let's pretend, right? Why can't I go here? Oh my gosh, where am I going? And say, all right, I want a fence. I want to build my fence. I'm not going to do it, but right, I want to go up here. I want to square off. I want to come down here. I want to square off. Right, I want this. Let's go around this whole area with my fence. And when I do that, I've now defined this is where my cows go. Then I want to be able to come in here. Right? And let's just pretend this is the food trough. Right? I want to feed here. And then let's pretend this is water. Well, I want to water up here on top of the hill. Right? And I want my milk. I want my milk building to be down here. Right? And I want my manure to be over here. And I want my slurry, well, I don't want it close to my milk. I want it over here. Right? Boom. And if you're within a certain range, then it all just detects itself. Kind of like the, straw harvest, buildable BGA. As long as everything's within a certain range, it all interconnects. So that's on my wish list. Maybe. Clearly Giants is listening to players. Giants is listening to creators. They're listening to the community. And they've been doing that for a while. It's just sometimes things take a little longer to develop. Are you serious? Move. Sniper Wolf, what's up? Thank you for that. Glad that video was helpful. No, we're not going to TED. We're not going to TED in front of this merger. I'm just bringing them over here once. I mean, I think the GPS being built in is a prime example of listening to the player base. What is the most requested feature? Probably for, I don't know, at least FS 19 and 22. I don't know if it was the most requested feature for FS 17 because I wasn't around before 17 came out. But clearly it's been a requested feature for lots of players for a very long time. And we're now getting it. Right? So everyone can have Giants' implementation of GPS. Is it as full featured as the guided steering mod? Is it as full featured as some of the other GPS style mods or add-ons? No, it's not. But it's a framework to build upon. So modders can build upon that. Wopster can take the new built-in GPS and maybe expand upon it. I hope they expand the seasonal cycles. I'd love to see grass drying be a thing. I would love to see hay and straw that are in grass that are left on the field too long. I'd love to see those vanish. Maybe if you had crop out in a rainstorm on the field, I'd love to see that kind of fade away or be reduced in some way. I mean, I fully understand why they released a watered down seasons to make it more accessible to the casual player as opposed to the hardcore player. I mean, I admit, you gotta admit, if you're watching folks like me play Farm Sim, you're probably more than a casual player. So it's hard to relate to the casual player that may be 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years old. Maybe they're 32 years old and have never seen a tractor in real life because they've grown up in a massive city. So to introduce full-on seasons as a base game feature, that might be a lot to take in. But to simulate the visuals of the seasons, to simulate at a basic level the fact that you can plant things only at specific times of the year, harvest things at specific times of the year, things take months to grow, right? That can be a little bit easier to digest. It would be nice if they maybe expanded upon that in 22, 25. But I'm not going to be upset if they don't. It would have been nice if someone in 22 found a way to expand seasonal cycles to be more like the seasons mod of old. Sadly, no one has, at least today. It would have been nice if there would have been a way to change the growth calendar without having to directly affect the map, so console players could change it out. Sadly, that didn't happen. But what did happen this time around is a vast larger percentage of mods and maps in general have been for all platforms. So this has been the most modded Farm Sim to date for all platforms. Every Farm Sim to date has been the most modded Farm Sim to date. So that is a good indicator that Farm Sim 25 will be even more modded than Farm Sim 22. And in a recent poll that I ran, I was a little curious on how many people just leave the crop growth calendar enabled, how many people turn it off, and how many people cycle it on and off to suit their whim. And I was surprised that the vast majority just leave it on. I think it was like 3/4, like 75% leave it on, And the other 25% was split between turning it off and cycling it on and off to fit their whim. So that was a little surprising, I think. And then, you know, you get your folks that come in and complain, well, Farm Sim 25 is just FS22 with mods. Yep. But it's more than that. But if you want to just sum it down to a kindergartner level, sure. Maybe that's really where their intellect is, so we have to come down to that level. But at any rate, we won't speculate on that. If you sum it down, sure. But isn't every new release of an established title just that established title with mods? Is every update to ATS just ATS updated with mods? Probably. If you want to really just dumb it down. Is that a bad thing? To take popular mods and incorporate them as standard features? No. I think it's validation to those mod authors that they came upon a great idea. The community loved, the community embraced. The developer saw that and agreed, and then later basically implemented that concept into their product. Every farm sim gets significantly better. Significantly better. Every time I do a news post about Farm Sim 25, someone comes on, it looks the same as 22. And I really feel like just saying, are you blind? Are you even looking at the screen? Are you just coming and posting that and leaving? Because you clearly don't have any original thoughts whatsoever. Because anybody with eyeballs at work can tell that this is going to be different. You don't have reflections on the paint of vehicles. Everything's like a semi-gloss paint in FS22. Mojo Jojo, it's been a long time. It's been a long time, sir. Glad you can make it. I think you'll find. You're going to find that there are going to be quick and dirty conversions. There will be quick and dirty vehicle and implement conversions to bring a mod out. And I think they're going to stand out like sore thumbs to the mods that are converted properly and make use of the new clear coat and the new layering system with respect to paint and things. I think they're going to look drastically different from each other, to the point where maybe folks will be like, why does this one look so dull? Well, it's because it's FS22. It's basically the FS22 materials and texturing. I just seriously hope that every day is not a foggy bottom morning. And the fog is nice, right? The God rays are nice. But I don't need fog every morning of the day, of the week. I don't know about where you live, but I very rarely see fog in the morning. We just don't have a lot of fog. I also don't live right along a river either, right? So maybe that's the deal. Maybe folks that live closer to a river get more fog. I have to say, this is likely one of the most underappreciated mergers in the game. This is a DLC item in the hay and forage pack. And, right, you can merge in the middle. You can merge to the left. You can merge to the right. You can merge to the outside. Right, so let's turn it on. Right, we're merging to the middle. Merging to the left. Merging to the right, merging to the outside, or we're merging back to the middle. I think this thing is so cool. Has so much flexibility. I hope it's part of 25's base game stuff. I mean, we'll have a super heavy dew that looks like it rained the night before, but we don't really get fog with any real regularity. Yeah, and I think that's the effect that they're overall going for in general. Is that low level fog right above the water, making its way up to the banks a little bit, and hopefully it burns off by mid-afternoon, mid-morning. I mean, crop moisture would be nice. Not only that your crop is ready to harvest, but that your crop is both ready to harvest and is dry enough to harvest. Alright, so we just merged to the middle. Now let's merge to the right. I think it looks absolutely fabulous. Can't wait to see it in real person. And I can't wait to see what modders and mappers do with the new systems. Right, we've seen recently some maps that got released that really had not the best frame rates. And most of those frame rates issues were a result of extra large view distances on the trees. Well, with FS25, trees are supposedly optimized better, and therefore hopefully the game will perform better with more trees. Maybe we'll see much denser forestry maps. as a result. Maybe forestry maps will visually have more fidelity, more variability to them because of how the tree models are being made and rendered. So like I said, really looking forward to being able to see it in real life. And that's where the folks that are able to attend Gamescom really have the advantage. Because they're going to have, as early as tomorrow, the ability to play a special build of Farming Simulator 25. Get their own eyeballs on it. We've seen other gameplay like the fillable balers, right? We have consumables now with respect to bale wrap, bale twine, net wrap for your round balers, and if you don't want to do it, sorry about that. If you don't want to do that, well, you can just hit R and fill the baler from the tractor. Or if you want that level of realism, then you can go and buy your pallet of twine, your pallet of bale wrap, and fill the baler as it runs out. Fill your wrapper as it runs out. But from the interviews, it sounds like the process will work just like the premium expansion crates for your beets, for your root crop, your beet, parsnip, and carrot harvesters. So the ones that output the crates, right? You can supply the crates, or you can just hit R and the harvester will just spawn a crate and it will charge you for the crate. So you could just fill your baler by hitting R and it will just charge you for the amount of wrap that you filled. Or you can actually go buy a pallet of wrap and fill it yourself. Hired helper, the change there with it always turning on the field as opposed to preferring to turn off the field sometimes. That'll be nice. Alright, one more pass on this, then we'll be ready to bale. So, just 82 more days. 82 more days, right? Fact sheets will hopefully be starting up soon. I believe fact sheets for FS22 started a little bit earlier. Giants was asked about fact sheets. And it sounds like they won't be starting this week because of Gamescom. All right. That's that. I don't know, I'm kind of a fan of the new UI. It'll be interesting to see how that grows on us with the new coloring. So that car back there, cut that other car off. Yeah, it not only cuts us off, it cuts itself off. Drew, what's up? How you been? Been a while, right? Alright, let's go with the big boy bales. 240. Will we have the variable bales in FS25, or will we go back to a little bit more standard size bales? That was a big change also that I don't think was known about until release of 22, was the different bale sizes. Is that to be a mechanic for the heavy equipment? Oh, I know, right? That's the big tease. Man, Giants last week did the big tease with that Twitter post. I think everyone's seen it by now. And I can pull it up here in a minute. What will come out from that? Right, so here, weather shift. Right, we have our ruts, we've got tire, we got shiny, glossy dirt. We knew about all that. We got shiny wet tires. We knew about that. We have shiny tractor. We knew about that. We have, well, that looks like hail. Right, we have something that's coming down with vigor. We got a dude or a dudette in rain gear. We've seen the legs, the pants, and the boots before. in another image where they were looking at and standing in a rice field. Right, we have our wheat. And, well, there's been some people speculating about the shape of this cloud in the background. But weather shift, that kind of means to me that we might have a bit more of a visual transition with respect to the weather. We may see the clouds building off in the distance, right? We may see clear skies that way, dark skies that way. We may have a situation where it doesn't rain everywhere on the map at once. Maybe the rain moves across the map. And you could be working in two different fields. One on the eastern side, one on the western side, and maybe the western side gets rain first. So we'll have to see if they have any more to say about that. I think we'll see a trailer. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure we had a Gamescom trailer for FS19 when it was being released, and for 22 when it was being released. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I like the ability to have your grass auto dry, and I would like the grass to fade away into nothing if it's left out in the rain, or if it's left out too much in the rain. I mean, typically Giants follows up any announcement with a blog post. I think maybe the exception was that one random Twitter post. The question may be, how many blog posts do we get? That may be more appropriately the question. Yeah. I mean, the hay drying would be nice, but again, they're trying to appeal to a broad audience, right? There's the audience of realistic folks. There's the audience of get her done. How fast can I do a given task? There's an audience that's only concerned about earning money. You know, what's my most profitable thing? Right, so for some of us, it's less about profit and more about what are the steps involved. Right, let's replicate the steps involved. Let's be pseudo realistic. There's hardcore realistic players, And then there's the completely, everything is just out the window players. What's up, Nathan? Thank you for dropping by. Glad you liked the video. So there's going to be things, you know, like we've said, there's going to be things that they've announced. There's going to be things that they haven't announced that we just will find out on our own. But I really do want to see the Asian map. I feel that we've seen plenty right now of Riverbend Springs. Well, I don't know if we're going to get mud flying off the tires, but we do know that visually mud will accumulate on our tires if we're driving through wet ground. And we do know that driving on a road or some other hard surface, the accumulated mud will fade away. If we'll actually see it fly off in clumps is a different story. Alright, we made 22 bales. Let's go back. Get our trailer, our collecting trailer, and see how many of these we get to keep. $22 bales. I feel like maybe we're going to be able to keep 8 of them. That's my guess. 8 bales we get to keep. Steve, we should be able to do rice on any map. The way it's been explained is you will use, similar to the same tool, the same mechanic you use for placing a fence, you will use to draw out your rice field. And once you complete your rice field, it will sink into the ground, or the edges will raise up to make the sunken field. I believe you'll also either get pre-placed automatically, or you'll place the water pipe to eventually fill that area. But it will be there'll be standard crops that are included as base crops, so they should be available on every map. Drew, I would have thought they would have already started based on FS22. FS22, we had 13 fact sheet weeks. 13 weeks of fact sheets. Well, we are now under 13 weeks for FS25. Just barely, but we are under it. I think it's an outside possibility to start this week. But I think maybe the reality is they'll start next week. Those are the only crops that have been announced so far. The long grain rice, regular rice, and spinach. That takes us to 23. I've counted 25 crops in the growth calendar based on the graphic that was part of the collector's edition. So it leaves us with 2 more yet to be announced. What's up, Will? How you doing? Well, Drew, last week, I was speculating that we could possibly see one per week from this point forward. As Giants either announces new things or simply does like dev vlogs where they go into more detail about something already announced. I think they already have enough content to... We tried to count them last week. I think they already have enough content to do at least 7 or 8 blog posts. And that's just with stuff we already know. Realm of Chaos, how long has it been? How long has it been? It's been a long time. We have to go here, right? Oh, turn around. And take a shortcut. Oh, I've been fine. I'm just hanging out here. Playing a little farming simulator. Thinking about, dreaming about, hoping about whatever comes next. Well, we know what's coming next. FS25, right? In 82 and almost 83 days. Uh-oh. Will sent me a link. That means we're close to being able to multiplayer test Nebraska lands. Why is there just this random horse? Oh, are you kidding me? Wrong place. Drew, I really don't know. Could they be other crops? Kind of Asian inspired crop? Could they be something much requested like a secondary grass? Could they be some other leafy crop like lettuce or cabbage? Some other vegetable like beans? Peanuts would be a welcome crop. I think a far-fetched crop would be tobacco, but one could always hope. I mean, stranger things have happened. All right, how about we unload over here? Only 6%. Oh, we're done. Let's go grab the rest of my bales. And I want to take these bales up here to the deer husbandry while we're at it. I mean, I think fruit trees would be cool. But would you burn a crop on like not grapes, oranges, apples, or would you maybe just have like a fruit trees, and then you somehow have different fruit trees, but they all are just a common thing? We're gonna have 8 bales. That's what I said. I think we're gonna have 8. Now we did sell more than that, so technically we did have more bales available to us. But not a bad guess. We're going to unload these over here at our deer husbandry. We're going to then go check out our moonshine. Maybe bring some of that up here to our beer parlor and see what type of see if we have any barrels of cider, and we'll just cut across this field, make a little money from that. Drew, you probably didn't know that we have well, you probably knew we had deer, right? But now with Bergmann, we have deer husbandry. Where's my stud? Stud's around here somewhere. There he is. Look at you, big boy. All right. Back to what we came here to do. All right. Oh, let's go down here and check our cider. Nope. All right, we're not doing any of that. Go get our shine. I know we have some shine. I mean, the buildable, being able now to have mod maps that potentially have things like the buildable roller coaster, or other buildable things. Right, that's going to be a fun and interesting new prospect. A new reason to do production would be to build and deliver goods, to make things, not just products that we can sell, but make physical things that manifest themselves on the map as objects. I want to learn more through blog posts about the new productions that we have, as far as like the Cartwright and some other things. I know it's dark. It's not worth. It's not worth fishing. What? Only one? Oh man. Alright, fine. You know what? Oh, let's hit some Z's and then we'll see what we have. Oh, nice. Two more cases. So 150 liters of shine. Can't strap it down. Ah, Schultz, you made it just in time. Just in time for our morning shine run. Let's hide this away in here. Will tells me he's sent Nebraska lands over. So if that's the case, we'll be putting that up on a server here very soon. Alright, no more selling to the priest. We had an intervention. The priest is no longer allowed to have any more alcohol. So that means we have to sell this stuff somewhere else. Oh, the beer parlor. Too bad, Tukey, it's not late at night. Let's run over here real fast and grab some cider. We should have a barrel of cider at least. Alrighty. So how many gallons is 250 liters? Inquiring minds want to know. Well, that doesn't tell me. It's not like I'm going to do the math. $66 gallons of cider. That should keep you busy for a while. Well, Steve, for the first thing you need to do is go to the Giants Developer Network, GDN, and create an account. From there, you'll be able to download the Giants editor, and then I would say you're going to be able to find some some, but not a ton of documentation. Kind of get you going. There are tutorials out there online. Start with something fairly straightforward, like modding or enhancing a base game vehicle or implement. And from there you can move on to things like maybe creating your own 2,500 bucks, creating your own models with Blender, and then incorporating those into the game. $1,400 per case of moonshine. Not a bad little set of profits. Did you forget why you're out? Well, you do have shoes on. Do you know why you're out here, ma'am? You do? You need help. You can say if you need help or not. Are you good? I mean, alright. If you just want to stand here and stare at the car, did you lose your keys? Oh, you don't know? Alright. I'm not standing here all night. She clearly doesn't want help. She had dropped a pack of cigarettes and he was helping hold her steady while she bent over to pick them up. You'll have to download the map to find out what it really says. Alright folks, that's going to do this for the night. Now, if I do indeed have Nebraska lands, then we'll be putting that up on the server. We might be doing some live streaming on Nebraska lands tomorrow night as we begin our multiplayer testing. I gotta find some people who are willing to actually test a map of that size. I don't really know anybody that plays maps that big, so it might be a little difficult in finding people experienced with large maps, but I'll do my best. So keep an eye on the channel for a notification of getting live. If Giants releases a map tomorrow, we'll be busy doing that video instead. So the normal rules then do apply. Until next time, happy farming.